Please, God.
This is God.
Hey guys, the Explorer04 here, Horrorboy465, welcome back to some more reviews, and today I'm talking about a pretty fun, sleazy slasher flick, and that is part of this 8-movie pack. It's finally back. I'm here to review some movies on this. The only reason why you haven't been seeing a lot of reviews from this pack is because a lot of these are sequels, and a lot of them are sequels that I want to wait to see, like Ghoulies 3, 976 Evil 2, I believe Class 1999 is like a sequel to Class of '84 or something like that, or Class of '87, whatever that one other movie was called. And I've only reviewed a couple movies from this. I have seen Waxwork. I seen Waxwork a long time ago, and it's okay. I thought it was all right. I was actually gonna review it, but so much time passed that I was not able to review it, and so yeah, I was gonna review it, but I ended up not being able to review it. I did see Waxwork though. I did see Chopping Mall. Did a review on it, and or Chopping Mall, not Chopping Mall, but Chopping Mall. I seen that, and it was a really fun slasher flick. I did a review on it, had a lot of fun with it, and now I seen this one, and that is the uncut version of Slaughter High. Now, going into this movie, I really did not know anything about this movie other than the poster looked pretty. The poster looked pretty fun, and the fact that it's the uncut version. Now, I really just did not know anything about this movie. I went into it completely blind. I just did not know anything about it, and I gotta be honest, guys. I had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie was definitely a very sleazy, I mean, the acting was just so bad, but so good at the same time. But it's just a fun, sleazy little slasher film that I really enjoyed. Had a lot of fun with it. Thought it was a great time. But basically, like I said, it gets a 5.2 on IMDb. Came out in 1986. Directed by 3 freaking directors, and also has 3 writers: George Dugdale, Mark Ezra, and there's one other director, Peter Mackenzie Linton. Now, I have no clue what these guys have done since then. Apparently, one of the directors, try to see here, Peter Mackenzie Linton, had done a movie called Living Doll and Rawhead Rex, actually. The special effects for Rawhead Rex. He didn't direct it, but he did some special effects for it. That's another movie that I really want to see, but apparently he did another movie called Living Doll. So I don't know. I don't know what the story is behind that, of this movie having freaking 3 directors. I have no freaking clue what's up with that. The other director, try to see here. The other director, Mark Ezra, has directed films such as House Swap and Savage Hearts. I don't know what those are. And I'm going to go back here and see what else the third director has directed. George Dugdale. Let's see what he's directed. So far, I really don't recognize any of these movies. Apparently, he's a director on Living Doll. I think he's a second director on that. And really, this is the only other movie he's done, besides, I think, being a second director on Living Doll. So really, these directors really didn't go on to do much. But, this movie is definitely a fun time. I have no clue what's up with that. 3 freaking directors. You got me. I have no freaking clue what's up with that. I don't know if just 2 of them left and didn't want to finish it and another one came in. I have no clue. Or they were just all 3 making the movie. I don't know. But I do know there was 3 directors and 3 writers, and I guess also because I read all this up on the on IMDb, I guess that the lead girl was in her late 30s who plays the lead character. I don't care; she's still hot anyways. But apparently she's playing a teenager, but she's in her late 30s, so that was pretty funny. But I don't care; she's still hot. And Slaughter High, I mean, I just really had a lot of fun with it. And the story is basically you got these kids, they're major dicks in school, and they're picking on this nerdy kid named Marty. And the guy who played Marty did a really good job, Simon Scudamore. Scudamore. He did a really good job playing a nerd character, but then also playing a psycho character. Did a really good job. I also really enjoyed the cast. I mean, their acting was terrible. Their acting was horrible. But at the same time, it was so bad it was good. It was kind of like, for me at times, Troll 2 acting. I mean, it wasn't necessarily as bad as Troll 2's acting, but it's definitely some of the more weaker acting in the slasher film. But at the same time, the dialogue and the cheesy one-liners they give, and I don't know, the dialogue, it could be bad, but I think what really saves it was that, yeah, the delivery is terrible, but the lines and stuff, they're just so cheesy. And I don't know, when I was watching it, I had a lot of fun with dialogue. The dialogue was just a fun time to listen to, and so yeah, necessarily the acting is bad, but it's not really a problem. For me, it's just as entertainment, it's freaking, it's great. Like, it's bad, but it's great to listen to. It just adds to it. It's really bad acting. I'm just being honest, bad acting, but for the good in this review. In this movie, in this review, I'm actually saying the acting is bad, but it's really funny to listen to. Just like Troll 2. Not as bad as Troll 2, but it's still funny to listen to. So yeah, you got the acting, which is a plus. I mean, it's bad but good. And I mean, just the story is just really well done. I mean, you got, like I said, these kids, they're being major assholes to this kid named Marty. They're picking on him, and they're freaking cruel to him. I mean, the lead girl makes him think he's gonna get laid, and he goes in the bathroom, strips down naked, and they're recording him, and of course they dunk him in the toilet and stuff like that, and they really torture this kid, and they offer him a peace offering later on, which is a joint, but of course that joint makes Marty sick as a prank. And then while Marty is sick, this guy, they call him the Joker, he freaking, I can't believe this, he freaking goes into this chemistry lab because Marty is working on something, takes like this powder stuff, it looked like freaking cocaine, but I don't know what the freak it was. It might have been freaking cocaine. It looked like cocaine. And like dips it in basically this little formula that, Marty's making, this substance. And it looks like freaking cocaine. So he takes it, dumps it in this little glass, and it starts to bubble. And when Marty comes back, it starts to cause a fire. And when he's flipping out, there's a jar of sulfuric acid above him that dumps on his face. And of course, Joker gets out of there before Marty comes back. And basically, the whole room catches on fire. And, he has like acid, like sulfuric acid right in the side of his face, Marty does. And it really burns the side of his face really badly. And he basically gets severe burns. And I'm thinking, gosh, what the frick? These people are freaking cruel. Like, causing fires and stuff. I mean, oh my god. Freaking cruel. So it really made you hate these characters. Like, you didn't like these characters because, they're dicks, they're assholes, and they're just being major douches to Marty. And I like how, Marty gets come back. He gets revenge for it. And I like how in this movie, this is kind of a spoiler alert, but this is a movie from 1986. If you haven't seen Slaughter High yet, this is a spoiler. But I like how Marty is actually the killer at the end of the movie. It's not like it's surprise somebody else from the background and surprise, it wasn't actually Marty. No, I like how it was Marty. It ended up being Marty at the end of the movie, and he was the killer. I like that. I like how they, didn't want to go that mystery route of like, oh yeah, it was this background person that we didn't even notice till now, and like, oh yeah, this is the killer. No, it is Marty. He's really the psycho killer of the movie. And I'm like, all right, that's cool. They finally did it where it is the real killer. It is who they say it is. And, basically from there on in the story, after Marty gets severely burned, he gets taken to the hospital. And I believe it's like years after these teens graduate, it's on April Fool's Day, and actually on April 1st, or April Fool's Day. And actually, this movie was supposed to be called April Fool's Day. But, of course, April Fool's Day came out and they had to change it to Slaughter High. And the April Fool's Day thing, I would think maybe besides the ending, you hardly ever really even hear about the April 1st stuff. Like, maybe a few lines and maybe the ending is what even remotely, is around April Fool's Day. But, it's pretty cool seeing another slasher film around April Fool's, or around April 1st, because, there's not really a lot of films like that. There's just this film, April Fool's Day, and then there's the April Fool's Day remake, which I don't think I'm going to be seeing anytime soon, because I heard a lot of bad stuff about it. But, yeah, it's a pretty cool idea that, it does take place around April Fool's Day. And pretty much these kids, they're all out doing their own life, they're out and out of school, and they get these invitations to come back for a high school reunion. And they all get back to the high school, and it's all abandoned. And they figured that since they're there, they might as well go in because they don't see anybody else there. And pretty much when they get inside this high school, Marty comes back wearing a really cool mask and a really cool look for the killer, where it's like the school logo and basically the uniform, and then he's wearing a jester mask. Really, really cool look for the character. And basically Marty comes back and he starts killing them off one by one, and there's a lot of gore, a little bit of nudity in there, and it's just a fun time. And to get to the good things, I mean, you got, like I said, great gore, you got some inventive kills, you got nudity, you've got a cool look for the character, Marty, you got So Bad It's Good acting, and I would say that the atmosphere of the high school is just very well done. It's very well lit, very well shot. It looks abandoned. It really does legitimately look like an abandoned school. And so yeah, the director did a good job doing that. And I think that the movie is just a fun time. But to get to the problems, there are some problems with this movie that really irritated me. And first of all, the characters in this movie make some dumb decisions. Freaking dumb decisions. Because they freaking witness a guy. This is a death scene in the movie. This guy drinks something. And Marty puts something in his drink that pretty much makes his stomach inflate and explode in practical gore effects. Those guts and everything. It doesn't really explode, it just sort of inflates and it pops open, his guts fall out. It's practical effects, really well done. They have these characters, after they see that they're trying to get out of there, they have two characters go off and have an affair because this girl is cheating on this other guy with a different dude behind her boyfriend's back, or I think her husband's back. And I'm like, you're cheating on your husband, and you're doing it right after you just got done seeing somebody's stomach pretty much explode open and guts fall out. What were they thinking when they was writing that? I was just like, who would freaking do that? Who would be like, oh yeah, it's a really good time to do that. It's a really good time to get laid and cheat and stuff. And yeah, we just got done seeing somebody's stomach explode and guts fall out, but let's go and do that. No, what the freak? It didn't make no sense. And then there's that, and like, what else happened? This girl, she freaking gets blood on her because when the stomach explodes, the blood squirts on her face or whatever, and basically it squirts all over like the blood does. And she freaking goes and takes a freaking bath. I am not kidding you. She freaking goes and takes a freaking bath, knowing there is a freaking killer around. So while she's going to take in a bath, you have a really cool death scene where Marty replaces the water with sulfuric acid. I thought it was blood at first, but it was actually sulfuric acid. And she like melts, and you see her become a skeleton. Very, very cool scene. And the death scenes, they include like a guy, he gets like a freaking metal pole stuck right through him. He's getting ready to escape in his car, and Marty's in the back seat and just impales him. This one guy he's like working on a lawnmower so he can crash out of the high school and get out of there. But Marty comes in and starts it up and drops the freaking lawnmower on the guy and slices him to pieces. Practical effects. This one guy, you think he's gonna die because he's getting hung, but actually the rope breaks, and you find out how he dies a little bit later on, which I'll explain. But you also got this other two people, the two people who are doing it. They are in bed, and Marty has rigged the bed up to where the metal part of the bed is hooked up to electricity, and he freaking fries them. And the girl gets fried, and he gets fried, and they pretty much get electrocuted. And I believe it's about it for the death scenes. Oh yeah, this other guy, he gets lifted up in the air and choked by Marty, and there's a thing on the door, like to put your coat on, a coat hanger or whatever. You could just freaking the back of his head pushed on that. And I think that's about it for the death scenes, honestly. I believe so. Besides the lead girl, actually, she does die at the end of the movie. And to explain the ending, this is another problem I have, this freaking ending. Because I get it, it's supposed to be April 1st, and it's the movie is centered around April Fool's Day. I understand that, I really do. But the ending literally spiraled out of control. Now, what I mean by that is pretty much at the end of the movie, Marty finally catches the lead girl. He impales her. Actually, the other guy who I said didn't die from the noose, she grabs the lead girl grabs like a hatchet, and she's waiting to kill Marty. And when she swings it around the corner, it's actually the guy who gets hit in the face, not Marty. So that's how that guy dies. But anyways, when Marty catches up to the lead girl, he takes this metal pole, and stabs her with it and kills her. And, he basically wins. The bad guy wins the movie. And the ending spiraled out of control because then they had the characters come back as zombies or vampires or whatever they were. Kind of like zombies, but kind of like vampires. They came back from the dead to haunt Marty, and Marty wakes up in a hospital. So I'm like, did this movie even happen? Did all this was it all a dream? Are you telling me that? I'm like, please don't tell me this is all a dream. And then Marty, he kills a nurse, stabs a doctor right in the eye with the freaking needle, and he gets out of there, turns right to the camera, and then, it ends. And I get it. It's supposed to be, oh yeah, well, it's April Fool's Day. Yeah, but the ending spun out of freaking control. Where the frick did that ending come from? Marty wakes up from a dream, and then he escapes the hospital, the mental hospital. Just, after waking up. I'm just like, what the freak? Where'd this come from? Another problem is that this movie is, I get it. At this time, slasher films were big. I get that. And I get that Prom Night and My Bloody Valentine, The Prowler, and Terror Train, and the list goes on. I get those movies came out, even some of them before, Slaughter High. This movie is literally one of the biggest Friday the 13th ripoffs I've seen. I am being honest. And I've seen a lot of slasher films. At least My Bloody Valentine did its own thing. At least Prom Night did its own thing. Those movies, they went off and they did what they could. They did their own thing. Chopping Mall. Right there, that movie. Right there, Chopping Mall did its own thing. And this movie, it's literally one of the biggest ripoffs of Friday the 13th I've seen. And you literally have a scene. It's really cool because they reference Friday the 13th. Because this guy comes out and scares his friends with a hockey mask on. And he goes, who'd you think I was, Jason? So I'm like, alright, cool. And they even get, legitimate sounding music from Friday the 13th. Like some Harry Manfredini score. That's seriously what it sounded like. And I actually want to see, real quick, if I can read it up here, if Harry Manfredini did the score to this movie. Because if he didn't, whoever did the score freaking did an awesome job. Actually, yeah, Harry Manfredini did the score to this movie. And I'm sorry, but he did the score for Hills of Ice Part 2 and this movie. Harry Manfredini, your score for Friday the 13th is awesome. But this movie's score sounds exactly like Friday the 13th. They even have music from Friday the 13th. Actual music from Harry Manfredini's score from Friday the 13th in this movie. when the Jason pops up and scares somebody when that guy comes out with the hockey mask on. There's music in the background from Friday the 13th, and this score sounds just like it. Like seriously, if you watch Friday the 13th and this movie side by side, you'll hear some very similar music in this movie from Friday the 13th, and it was just very obvious that it sounded just like it. And I would say that I was kind of disappointed with the score because it basically is a Friday the 13th score, basically. But the one song I really enjoyed is the main song of the movie, pretty much the theme song, the rock and roll theme song that this movie has. I really enjoyed that theme song. But after that, and I swear it was after the Jason jump scare, we got this Friday the 13th score, and it sounded so similar to it. Harry Manfredini, your scores on other movies, they pretty much sound like Friday the 13th. Hills of Ice Part 2 is another example. Sounds just like Friday the 13th. So, I don't know. I was just really disappointed with the score of this movie because it's pretty much a Friday the 13th score. Sound just like it. So yeah, the score was pretty bad. The ending came out of freaking nowhere. It really did. I really can't think of any other problems though, really, besides the ending and the music, and that it's a very strong ripoff of Friday the 13th because, and besides the freaking music, I forgot to get to that. The freaking music is just one part of it. The other thing is, it has an exact formula of a Friday the 13th movie. These kids get there, they get knocked off one by one. By that point, it's still okay. That's normal for a slasher film. But at the end of the movie, you have the girl being chased by this killer around and shot, kind of like a Friday the 13th movie, and she's being chased around, and you have her fighting back against the killer. But I don't know, just something about the way that it was directed and shot looked just like a ending from Friday the 13th. It literally did. Seriously, if you watch this movie, watch the third act, it feels just like a Friday the 13th movie. So yeah, there's that. So the score and everything else, the ending, basically the third act of the score was just like a Friday the 13th movie. The ending came out of nowhere, but honestly, besides that, and also characters make some dumb decisions. Besides that, the movie is very fun. It's surprisingly a decent time, and I thought it was actually a really fun slasher film. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching my review on Slaughter High, and I'll see you guys in the next review. The Explorer 4 out. See you guys later. Bye.